On today's episode of Wrong Side, we dive into the awesome Columbus Blue Jackets Stadium Series and a catch-up for Joey and I for being back together for the first time in a few weeks. NBA and college basketball, what's going on in the league, face of the league conversations, along with right before March Madness conversations. The Mount Rushmore we're going to do this week is an interesting one, maybe not a normal topic. Clutch Moment of the Week brought to you by Shore Metals and Outside the Line. In a world full of champions, we find ourselves on the wrong side.
Welcome back, Wrong Siders. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday. Today is March 5th, and Michael, it's been a long time. In the few years since we've graduated, I think these last couple weeks, this last month or so that you've been going balls to the walls at work has been probably some of the time that we have spoken least in the last couple of years. So how are you doing? How are you making it through? I think busy season goes till April or May, so like maybe halfway through right now. How are you feeling these days?
Tired. I think I'm feeling tired. Long nights. I think my team's just kind of maybe a little more night owls, so we work a little later. And the client we're on has been up and down, so we're there. We're almost done though. Almost done wrapping up my public client. And the second half, you're right, we're about halfway through. But the second half is in my opinion, a lot easier considering it's a private client versus public clients. So that's good. But halfway through, my body's tired. The last 2 days, yesterday and today, I got to not sleep in. I was up at still like 8, but I was able to work from home for the first time in like a month, which has been nice because like even on the weekends we were going in. So it's kind of nice to sit in a hoodie and just relax and get in shorts and just work from home, which was nice. But other than that, it's just been a long couple weeks. I feel fat because I haven't worked out as much the last month because I've been working all day. I woke up this morning, got a workout in, which it didn't obviously happen, but it felt like I lost 35 pounds just like getting a sweat on. So that was much needed. But other than that, just like feel like time kind of flew by. I was making a joke to some of my team members that like, it felt like Mag was going to match in like 6 months, like when we started.
Right.
Like the year basically back in like November. And like next thing you knew it, today we're recording on the 2nd. It's 3 weeks from, what is it? No, not 3 weeks. Is it 2 weeks from tomorrow? 2 weeks from tomorrow, she finds out if she matched. And it was 3 weeks from Friday. She'll find out where she matched. So like time just felt like it flew these last 2 months. Like it felt busy and felt like we weren't doing anything. But boy, oh boy, we didn't even know what day it was. Like we were like, Is it Wednesday? Like it started to come one of those where you're just like days are melting in together.
It's real life severance. I know it's obviously not fun to be working all those hours. You'd much rather be hanging out with me, doing other stuff like that. But I've always wondered, because in my line of work, we never have to work late going on the weekends, or like you do sometimes, but don't have that kind of schedule at all. So are the vibes when you have to go in late or on the weekend, are they better? Are people rocking a little more casual stuff? Is that a good opportunity to kind of hang out with your team a little bit, or is it all business these days?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely good. I mean, I think teams have experiences like this. I think if I was doing this with a group of 5 to 8 people that I hated, it would be torture. I think it'd be torture, but I really like the people I'm on, the team I'm on. I like the people on my team. Obviously, I've only been there for about a year on this team, so not my full tenure at the firm, but really like them, so that helps. On the weekends, we do dress like joggers, sweats, like hoodies, okay. So that's nice. Like, when it's like after hours, and usually like what we'll do sometimes is like if we work at the office, we'll like have dinner on like 6:30, let's say, and usually after dinner, that's kind of like also quote unquote after hours. So like we can put on a hoodie, we can switch into like a sweats. So like post 7 o'clock, I'd say sometimes we get the change too when we're not at the client, obviously.
Yeah, for sure.
But then, is it all business? I'd still say majority business. Like I think like my dad's like, oh, are you guys messing around all day? Like, why are you there that late? And like, we do mess around, but like I think the messing around like total is probably like an hour of total mess around day through the entire day. Like it's not much.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I mean, we're talking here and there, but like right now we're all just kind of trying to get our work done because we're tired of these nights and not like everyone wants to sleep. Like everyone's just irritated. And, like I think we're all at a delirious state where like we laugh at
Yeah.
the stupidest things or like laugh at seeing something that they messed up on that we're like, oh, okay, cool. Like another mess up and you just start laughing. So it's just kind of like going with the flow and like we're almost there. And this week's going to be busy because like obviously the audit's not done and it got extended, but along with that, like last week, so basically how the firm works is like every week you have time on your calendar
Mm-hmm.
and like teams pick you up. So like my team had picked me up through the end of February and then from March to end of April, I'm on my private clients.
Yep.
So like that happens. But like since we extended a week, now I have hours for like 3 clients this week. So like
Ooh.
in like it's gonna be like so hopefully not as bad. But like I had already cleared because I like a couple weeks ago I cleared like, oh, can I go to St. Louis a little early? Like I'll work from there, or you want us to be in office? And like that was a whole issue. So there's just like so much going on, and like the next thing you know is like a blink of an eye, like it's gonna be next Saturday, St. Louis, and it's gonna be like an important week. And I don't know if I've like fully like locked in on that because I've been so busy the last month, but like it'll
Right.
probably hit me this week.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing too. Like obviously you got to take care of work. You got to make it through the day before you could think about planning for a month, a year, whatever in the future. So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing that you haven't had time to really think about the implications of the next couple weeks, but have you talked to Meg much? I know like you both have been extremely busy, but what's word out of Camp Halloran right now?
Yeah, word out of Camp Halloran is it's still up in the air. I actually have not talked. I actually didn't talk, texted her like like here and there throughout the days of February, but I only hopped on a call with her like once or twice because she was in the DR for the month.
Oh yeah,
So I
yeah.
really like
Mm-hmm.
it was just time difference and like she was 4 hours ahead. I was at work. I'd be like I think there was probably I think my final count was 3 days of her in the DR when I was getting home and she was waking up. I think that was my
Yeah.
final total of like 3 days. So I was getting home at 2 a.m. She was getting up at 6 a.m.
Jeez.
So there was 3 times that happened. But word out of Camp Halloran is I think that for both of us, to be honest with you, I think it, like you said, I think it was a good thing for February that we were both insanely busy.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was both good because I think when she left for DR, we were both still kind of nervous and I mean, we both still are, but
Sure.
I think that was kind of that was how we left OTAs was nervous. But then as spring work came through in February, like both of us got so busy, like she was thinking about it obviously because she's got to fill a form,
Yeah.
and she had a little more time in DR, just kind of like get to relax. She had some more days off in February versus I did, but I think for me it was good that I wasn't thinking about it. But now that it has died down, it like hit me like a truck Friday night. Like, okay, like it's 3 weeks away. Okay, I got to do this. Okay, like my flight's this Saturday. Okay, like I got to get a gift for match day. I got to plan some stuff for that week. Her parents are coming in and trying to like, then it was like, okay. And then like, as soon as you go, like my flight is 4 o'clock that Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So she matches that Friday at 4 o'clock. That Sunday is my flight. So then it was like the extra part of, okay, like, but her parents or friend are going to be there because also like I would like to sit down with you for a couple minutes.
Business. We got to talk business.
And we got to talk some business. And she's like,
Yeah.
oh, we can do that this weekend. But I find it hard to believe. I think that's going to be very tough to talk business that week.
Uh-huh.
But maybe we can just stick aside an hour or two for ourselves and just do that. Maybe like Sunday if her friends leave or something. But we do need to talk because she has like a busy March and April where like she's gone for New York for a weekend. She's going on a trip with her mom for a week. She's going to a wedding. So I know it's going to get, and like, cause like the next thing you know, it'll be May, and I still don't have time off because I don't know how much time I need to take off.
Yeah.
So
business
I'm trying,
is important. Yeah.
yeah.
But
so
at the
like,
same time, you got to be able to like, you still got to be able to celebrate and stay in the
yeah,
moment. I know
exactly.
you will. But it'll be an interesting conversation. Like I've said, I don't envy your position on all the things you have to figure out
Yeah.
while still working 70, 80 hours a week. But since it's coming around the corner, as far as like move out conversations, have you talked to your parents? Are they starting to feel like this is right around the corner? Maddie and I are looking at apartments right now, and it's interesting because now I've been out for like a year. So some of my other friends have started to move out, and it's like, oh, they're not just moving from one city to another. This is the first time they're moving out of their parents' house. So I remember that also like carried some, like, definitely some emotional baggage doing that, different than college. Have you started talking to your parents about that? Do you start to feel that too?
Yeah, it definitely is starting. I think the worry and everything is starting to pick up quicker around here. Like, I think the good thing for me, at least, I think it's different. You're right, than college. I think from my end of it, I'm okay moving because it's like I've done this before. I've lived far away from home, so that
Yeah.
doesn't worry me. But it's different when it's like, okay, like even at worst, I'm coming home 4 times a year for long periods of time. Winter break, spring break, summer,
Hmm.
Thanksgiving, like you're guaranteed to come home. And I mean, I'm going to assume you and Maddie have also, I guess Maddie and you are a little different. Because you actually, it's probably very different because it's not the same as us. But, I didn't, when I was growing up, you don't expect to date or marry or be with someone because I just feel like it's not common when you grow up is like
Right. Yeah,
to marry or date someone from a different state.
for sure.
So then it's like you start thinking like, okay, like whose house are we doing Christmas at? Whose house are we doing Thanksgiving at? Whose
Hmm.
house are we doing Valentine? Any thing, whatever. So there's that part of it, along with not only that, but then it's like from my side of things, Meg and I were talking about it. Like I think she was telling me it's very common that you only get either A, Christmas off, or B, New Year's off.
Right.
So then it's like, okay, like if she doesn't get Christmas off, like I'm probably not going to leave to go to my parents' house by myself while she has to stay home and do
She
Christmas
comes
by
home. Yeah,
herself.
right. Yeah.
So then there's like that game of it. So I think the conversations are starting to pick up. We started talking about it, like my dad and I, and like, they asked us last night or asked me last night, like, what's going on? What's going to make it on the table? I was like, I don't know. Like, I'm supposed to talk to her tonight, hopefully, like if we can get on a call, but it's just, things are still up in the air. It's just so up and down. It's so
For
up and
sure.
down. And
Hmm.
it's such a weird, like, it honestly, it really is to me like recruiting. Like it really is recruiting. It's really like what you're allowed to say, what you're not allowed to say, and like these schools are the same way. Like they could technically send like one school sent an email, but one school didn't. And she's like, "Do you think this school likes me more than the other?" And I was like, "I don't know. Like maybe they're just playing it safe. Like they don't want to get in trouble." Because she was like, "Schools can get in trouble for basically tampering."
Wow, that's
So
crazy.
like I don't really know how that works. So like it's just so up in the air. And I think her parents are also nervous, but I think that from their point of view, they want to just match. They don't care about where.
For sure.
And
Hmm.
I think Meg is the same way. I think Meg has obviously her preferences, but she doesn't care at this point. Just she wants to see the email on that Monday, like congratulations, you have matched, and move on from there.
Of course. A lot of big stuff. It's all exciting. I like talking those conversations. It's less about like where you're going out this weekend, what you're doing. Like when I'm catching up with
Yeah,
friends now, it's a lot of those conversations, which at the same time are very fun but very stressful. So I
right.
know you guys put all that work in, and you guys will end up in a great spot. But very curious to follow Match Countdown 2025. So
Yeah.
we'll keep an eye on that. Otherwise in life, I have not been doing that much. Maddie and I are looking for apartments. We looked at rings. I said that last week. You guys got a lot of me last week. So in the sports
It was a good
calendar,
episode. It was a good episode
oh,
last week. I listened
thank
to
you.
it. I mean, I edited obviously, but it was good. Very tough to do that for 45 minutes.
It was weird, but it was a good time. I do like talking about my takes and myself. So if we ever need a solo episode, I'll be happy to do it. Um,
Okay.
Sports calendar. It's a rough couple months right now, but in Buckeye land, things are always happening. The Stadium Series, Michigan, Ohio, Detroit Red Wings versus Columbus Blue Jackets in Ohio Stadium. I know Jake Sharber was boots on the ground. He was posting on the Instagram story. Heck of a game. As a Chicago Blackhawks fan, they have the Winter Classic and they don't usually win it. So outdoor hockey games are not high up there in my sports memories, but what a game. Patrick Kane nets a goal and the Columbus Blue Jackets win a very important one in the playoff race. What do you think of the stadium? What do you think of the game? It was awesome, I thought.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, first I was thinking about it. This is side related just to us, not hockey. I was thinking about it last night when Jake was there. For a media platform like ourselves, with 3 to 5 people at any given time, with no resources but ourselves,
Uh-huh.
we find a way to be in the center of most TV games. Like I was thinking about it, like we had everybody at the Buckeye playoff run. We've had stadium series. We'd have the college hockey stadium series. We've had big playoff
Yeah.
baseball games. Like we've been to our fair share of good games of the year. So that was a small right side, but I was thinking about that last night when Jake was there. What did I think about it? I think that and what's weird is that they've done this before, but I don't know if it was just televised better or I don't know if it was marketed better. I don't know if the Ohio, Michigan in Ohio Stadium like increase the value of it. But in my opinion, I think hockey just keeps on winning. Like
Yeah.
I just think like it's been an incredible month for hockey, and like that's kind of how these kind of things work. In my opinion, this is how I thought the beginning of Caitlin Clark started, where she got hot and people started covering this girl from Iowa a little longer. And then she was shooting all these shots and they were winning games. And then Iowa was in the headlines every week. Every day, hockey's in the headlines. And I think it's very similar to that. They've started to figure out some good ways to market them. I think Four Nations obviously picked up a lot of steam, and especially with them going back to the Olympics next year. That's going to be incredible. But along with that, this stadium series was awesome. I've known of a couple, and they're always cool. But again, I think it was the tradition. I think it was Ohio State, Michigan. I think they made it seem like it was Ohio State, Michigan. I saw something weird that it was Ohio versus Michigan, but Ohio was wearing red and Michigan was wearing, or I'm sorry, Ohio was wearing blue and Michigan was wearing red.
Right. Yeah.
So that was funny, but great event. Second biggest game ever in NHL history. 95,000 people. The event looked awesome. I heard they put on a great show. I love that. I mean, I keep going back to it, but that was their theme basically. Like they did the skull session at across the street, like Columbus did the skull session. They walked across into the stadium like Buckeyes do. They walked onto the field before the game. I love the Gaudreau. Both teams did the Gaudreau shout out stuff. Game was awesome. Columbus is fun. What a story this would be if they could keep going and go on a run. What a story. I mean, they're in the playoff race. They're atop the wild card. But what a story this would be. But awesome. Looked cool. Buckeyes were honored between the second and third. 21 Pilots were there. Stadium looked awesome. And my last takeaway from it was I think it's a guaranteed lock after seeing an awesome night game against Tennessee, an awesome stadium series. I think it's 100% chance for a big noon kickoff against Texas.
Oh, that was the lock of all locks. I could have told you that months ago. But yeah, you're exactly right. They did Script Ohio on the ice to start it out. They did Carmen, Ohio at the end to end the game. Hockey keeps winning. I said it last week, but on a random weekday night, I'm not looking for what NBA game is on. Sorry, Moops. He's locked into the Cavs, but NBA is pretty rough right now. I'm looking to see if there's a hockey game on, throwing it on. I know there's obviously some of these top teams, the Lightning, the Panthers, the Golden Knights. I went through some of the conference leaders last week, but I don't care who's on hockey. I don't know enough about hockey to really care about the quality of the sport. Blackhawks are very bad. I will say the Blackhawks are not a good product to watch. But other than that, like you said, hockey keeps on winning. The Blackhawks did make a splash trade. Seth Jones, our defender, very disappointing this year. Gone. We got a first-round pick and a young and up-and-coming goalie. So hopefully that's a splash moving forward, but we're tanking for the next 5 to 10 years at this point.
Good.
Yeah, so typical Chicago sports shenanigans going on there. But hockey wins.
Yeah, I mean, it's been awesome. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's very cool. It's been great. Like they're doing a great job marketing it. I think it's incredible to watch. I like seeing sports like that. Like I don't know if I said it a couple weeks ago, but like as being a big of a baseball fan I am, I know baseball gets a bad rap. It's not marketed well. Mm-hmm. People don't like it. They think it's slow. I think it's the opposite of hockey, like speed wise, but hockey's still not marketed well. I mean, now we got some great storylines in hockey. I mean, the Four Nations was awesome. Stadium Classic, awesome. You have the Columbus Blue Jackets, which are the story of the year. You have a bunch of great teams playing right now. You have Ovi, 11 goals away. I mean, like, if you would have said that, I mean, there's zero shot in hell I could have ripped off all that stuff I just said in those last 15 seconds a year ago.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it really wouldn't be. Like, I could tell you exactly what's going on with the Blue Jackets, maybe a little, because I still follow them, because I work for them. Maybe the Ducks a little, a couple players. But I would not tell you who's in first. I wouldn't tell you who's in lead in conference. I wouldn't tell you what trades were going on. Like, I saw the Seth Jones thing. Mm-hmm. So, like, that's how you know they're doing a good job. When the average, like, non-puck fan knows this stuff, it's a pro.
100%. And I'll use this as kind of time to transition into college basketball. I think a lot of what the average fan kind of has problems with for baseball, at times for like regular season hockey, regular season basketball, is games don't feel like they matter. Like the whole thing with the
Yeah.
NBA is the players don't try. There's too many games. They're saving everything for the playoffs, because playoff basketball is still one of the best things to watch, in my opinion. But now we're heading into where every single game, every single shot, every single rebound matters the most. College basketball with March Madness right around the corner. I need a bracket in my hands badly now. I've been spending the last couple weeks trying to research and figure out what I know versus what I don't know. I don't know a lot still, but the bracket's starting to take shape a little bit. I went through some of it last week, so I'll let you kind of lead us off. What do you think of? I have some men's and some women's takes, but where do you want to start with college basketball?
Yeah, we can start with the men's. I've been trying to watch a little more on the weekends. I saw the crazy Tennessee shot last night. My manager, who I'm close to on my team, he's a big college basketball fan. Him and his dad go to March Madness every year, so like he's very into it. So like I've been watching a lot more games with him. A lot of Slick Rick conversations going on between us. But men's bracket, I will say, I saw this 2 weeks ago. I don't know. Like I said earlier when I was talking about work, I don't know what day it is. I saw the stat that said Duke and Auburn versus the field at 42%, which sounds insane that that's like real. 42% of the money or like percentage odds of winning it is on those two teams. I don't know. I don't know if it's because like, I mean, like, to be honest, like I haven't seen much of Duke this year. Like I've seen a couple Cooper Flag highlights. Are they that good? Is Duke that good? I've heard they haven't played that many people.
They haven't. The ACC is definitely down this year, but every single player seems to be built like Cooper Flag, where they're like 6'8", long as hell and can move. I think they were the best defensive team in the country, if they're not still. And Cooper Flag is obviously like amazing with the ball in his hands. They have a lot of guys that can play, but their feature this year is definitely their defense. I think in not a ton that I've seen from either team. So Auburn played Kentucky over the weekend, and they're definitely a veteran team. I think
they smoked them.
They smoked them. But Janai Broom went over an entire half without scoring a point. He had free throw opportunities. They had stuff there. And Kentucky, with how many turnovers they had, I have not seen Auburn be particularly impressive. I think they're all around just solid. But if they face a hot team Kentucky didn't play particularly well, like I said, but if they face Alabama, who's going to put up 98 points, or even Houston, who can get super hot shooting the ball, Iowa State, a team that's great on both ends of the floor, I think Duke and Alabama might be a better bet, in my opinion, than Duke and Auburn, just because I think Auburn's old, but I don't think they have anyone that can actually take over. And I haven't watched a lot of Janai Broom yet. I know he's been a top candidate for Player of the Year, but not impressed by them so far.
Yeah, I know they're almost as old as the OKC Thunder. I saw that.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, I did see that, which was insane. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I find it hard to believe. It's very rare that both teams like that. It's very rare 1v1 because they're probably going to both be one seeds, right?
For sure, I think Auburn's obviously still the number one team in the country. I think Duke has fluttered kind of between 2 and 3 for most of the year.
So if they win the ACC, they'll be their own. Okay. So, okay,
Probably,
good. So, it's very rare it's 1v1. Very rare. So, I think, in my opinion, the field is the better bet. Then, I saw some games. The Tennessee game was awesome yesterday. Nate Oates collapsed. I saw that.
Yeah.
Good game. Ohio State, I know we're still on the bubble. I'd say we're still last 4 in as of right now. But
I've been seeing us as high as even today. I looked at like bracketology, which I think was a couple days out of date, but people had us as 10 seeds still. And is 10 seeds one of the first 4
the real
games?
10 seed, or I was just gonna say that the real 10 seed or the 10 versus 10 game.
It looked like one of the real 10 seeds. And I don't know, on the bubble, I think is a fair spot to put us. But I don't think we've beat pretty much anybody. We had a couple good games earlier in the year. We lost to Michigan at home.
We have some big wins earlier in the year. We have some big wins earlier in the year.
Early. I don't know. I think we don't have much going for us, and it'll just set me up to like really lock in and figure out when that game is and be disappointed.
And then lose the first round. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so
I will say
I was hoping we weren't going to make it, but that's loser talk.
I will say I was looking at the calendar. Wrong. I love her to death, but I think if my math was right, I'm pretty sure the first 2 days are
Yes.
20th, 21st. Yeah, okay. Um, so that's brutal. But actually, maybe it won't be as brutal as I think, because I think the ceremony is 8 to noon on that Friday. There's nothing to
Hmm.
Thursday, so Thursday would be safe.
All day.
But
Yeah.
8 to noon, I think, is the ceremony. But I guess
Okay.
thinking about it now, that's only 10 a.m. my time when I feel like I usually would tune into a game at like 9 o'clock. That's usually when games would start.
Yeah.
My
Hmm.
time. So I guess
Hmm.
really only an hour. Okay, never mind. We're back. Um,
Back.
but basically, yeah. So I know that's coming up, but yeah, it's gonna be very fascinating. I love March Madness. You start learning. I mean, I've started to see. I watched a little more over winter break because the Cowboys sucked. So like that's why I was watching more college basketball. But Fanta's great, Rothstein's great, like all those guys that go on PMT, they're great to listen to. But I think it's gonna be a great tournament. Because I really don't know who's gonna win. I really do not. Like usually you can be like, yeah, UConn, they're still the favorite.
Yeah.
They're gonna roll through, and UConn's not that anyway. I would love to see St. John's go on a run. I would love to see Ohio State win at least a game. I don't know if they're gonna go on a run, but a game.
Yeah.
I think Wisconsin and Michigan State are also good. The Big Ten is very good. I saw a graphic I think yesterday that like almost every team is gonna make the tournament basically.
Yeah, they
Um,
were sneaky because the SEC has been so talked about because they had to take basketball and because they lost football to the Big Ten last year.
yeah,
But like I've definitely, like I've said multiple times, like my roommates, and he went to Kentucky, SEC guy. I've definitely been following SEC a little more. But the Big Ten is sneaky still there. We may not have Illinois in this year, but even Indiana's turned it up this year. Michigan State, Wisconsin, Purdue as always. So Big Ten is sneaky.
yeah, it's very sneaky. I think it's gonna be a great tournament. I will say it would be. What sucks, I did see. So wait, in Indiana, they've been bad this year, right?
Very bad.
From what
I think
yeah, okay.
they
They're not even gonna
officially
make the tournament, right?
they officially clinched their berth to the Big Ten tournament, and I think if they win it all there, that person the person who wins
Yeah,
the team
they have to get in. Yeah, automatic
yeah,
bid.
so there's a chance that their coach already said, I don't know if he's retiring or leaving after this year, but like suddenly Indiana has turned a corner when time all has seemed lost, but they do have an outside chance of making it. So I am
Okay.
usually an Indiana hater, but I love an odds against everything story. So maybe.
Yeah. No, it's great. I love it. That first weekend is probably the best. Which now I guess thinking about it, maybe it's gonna really decrease my time. I guess I'll be in St. Louis. But I did have a funny story as well because when I was at dinner on Friday night with my team, we just went out. We were done for the day. We just were like tired. We wanted a break, and my manager who I hang out with, his wife came there too, and she was like, "Oh, we should totally go to Disneyland like March 20th and 21st." And I like whispered in his ear, I was like, "I don't think you can that day," and he's like. I was like, you know why you can't that day? He goes, oh yeah, he's right. Michael and I actually are busy that day. We are working. He's like, they said extra stuff for the audit. They'll just need us to one associate, one manager. And she's
There
like,
we
oh
go.
yeah, really? And he's like, yeah, it's swamped. He's like, but you guys go, have fun. So
You better get
coming
extra
up.
points on the performance review for that. That's awesome.
Yeah. Coming up soon. I can't wait. It's the best 2-3 week. I will say about maybe this is tone deaf of me. It's April Madness now. Why does it start so late?
I didn't really make that realization.
Is that a
I
bad
didn't,
take?
No, I think that's a super fair take. It starts the 20th of March and goes. It's more in April than it is in March. March Madness, obviously, you're never going to take that away. But I've always had that problem. I've secretly always had that problem also.
Okay, yeah. I think that's an issue. I think it's a real issue. Like, well, why are we calling it that then? We call it Madness. Midway Madness.
I can't think of anything. I'm trying to think of something that works for April, and I just can't.
No, it's not. I mean, they're ruining the sport. This is America we live in.
Canceled.
Canceled. But now out of college basketball, we're gonna shift to the National Basketball Association, Joey's favorite league in the books. Not much to talk about, but there was one big topic. Obviously, games are still going on. We're at the back end of the season. Playoff seeding still not really finalized in the West, in my opinion. A lot of movement.
No.
Obviously, it looks like OKC is going to be the one, but 2 through 8, it's like I think separated by 5 games. I saw recently, so really like very close everywhere. I heard the Bulls are back. They're back. They're in the mix for the play-in. That's their favorite spot in the world.
We've been contending for the play-in all year. I think it was in the month of January. We went 7-16, which is obviously not great. Hopefully trying to tank a little bit for Cooper Flag. But don't worry, the Philadelphia
That's a lot of
76ers.
games.
It's a lot of games. The Philadelphia 76ers, maybe it was longer than just January, but whatever stretch it was, we were the 10 seed, and I think Philly was the 11 or 12 seed before they shut down Joel Embiid, which happened this week. But the Bulls went 7-16 in that time frame, and the Sixers went 7-18, and the playoff race did not change. So we are still tanking for the play-in. I guess we're calling it at the moment, but things are not fun in the bottom of the East right now.
No. Okay, so yeah, I did see the Bulls. Lakers, Lake Show, Showtime's back. I'll say
Lake
that.
Show's back.
I'll say that.
I may have. I have to put the hand up. I may have been wrong about the LeBron and Luka thing not really working. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen when they're hitting, which they have been over the last week or so.
Unbelievable. I mean, when they're. I mean, they lost that awful game to Charlotte a couple weeks ago, but that was like their one bad game. But these next few weeks will be big. We're in the hunt for the 2 seed right now. That'll be big, but we have AR calf strain, soreness. They didn't say it was a full strain, so he's day to day. Rui's going to be out a week, so we just lost our 3rd and 4th guy. We're going to need guys to step up. Alex Lynn, they got him on waivers when the Mark Williams trade didn't go through. What a disaster that's been. He's barely played. Jackson Hayes, though, stepped up very well, in my opinion. And LeBron might be player of the month for the Western Conference in February, age 40, with the numbers I saw, which would be absolutely insane. 28, 8, and 9 at 40 years old. But he's playing great. Definitely playing way more than I thought he would this year.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw something that he's missed. He's played in 80% of back-to-backs that he's had over the last 2 seasons, which is actually a crazy stat when you think about I guess I always see him as game time decisions. So I always just think he probably played less than he did, but interesting. But other than that, LeBron, we get to him. He was basically in the media this week. I know this was a hot topic of the week. Face of the league. In my opinion, so basically, let's tell everybody what he said. So basically he said, face of the league conversation has been going on for weeks lately. Just, who's going to be the next face of the league? Obviously, LeBron's at the tail end of his career. LeBron said in an interview with Scott Van Pelt, why would you want to be the face of the league when all they do is shit on you and tear you down? That's not what anybody wants to do. Then you have guys that kind of don't want to be the face of the league. Anthony Edwards has come out basically and said, I just want to ball. I want to play the game. I don't care about all the fancy stuff. Zion said before, when Zion was in the mix of potentially the next face of the league, he was like, I just care about playing and being myself. Then you have Wemby, who kind of want to be, but people are saying, can the face of the league be an international player? Personally, I think that's great. I've seen it in baseball. It's growing the sport well. So it's happening. But the thing I would say about someone like Shohei versus Wemby, in my opinion, for being the face of the league, is the face of the league has always been a guard league. It's very rare you're going to have a center be the face of the league. So I think that's
especially
more of the
today,
issue than Wemby. Mm-hmm. So what are your thoughts on it? What he said? Do you think there's a face of the league in waiting? I personally don't. I told you a couple weeks ago, I think, in one of the episodes that I saw a commercial for NBC that basically said – or I'm sorry, it showed a trailer for next year because NBA is moving to NBC. I don't know if you saw that, Turner. But they made the commercial and it was Tatum, Giannis, and Wemby, and it was the first real commercial without any of the big three of LeBron, KD, and Steph, which was very rare for the NBA to do, I thought. So, what were your thoughts on the quote? Do you think there's a face of the league waiting? Do you think we don't know the face of the league? Is the NBA sport dying? What do you think?
It's very interesting in a lot of different ways. I will shout out Tone Deaf LeBron once again because this whole thing started. I believe this whole thing started from the Anthony Edwards interview. Someone asked him in a post game, "Are you ready to be are you the face of the league? Are you going to be the next face of the league?" And he was like, "No." And then LeBron, per usual, the face of the league had to make it about him. So
he's the face of the league. You just said it.
He is the face.
Yes, make it about him.
He doesn't have to make it about him. It was never about him. He's obviously retiring. He's like, why would anybody want it? So back to the Luka trade. People were saying LeBron is trying to set up a competition league to the NBA, and now he's the face of the league is suddenly shitting on the league. He's been a fantastic face of the league. He's been clean in the media. He's supported the league. He's showed up for the most part when it mattered. Except for the All-Star game a couple weeks ago. So he's sabotaging the league actively at the moment. So for him to say that is kind of annoying, but who is the face of the league and what does the face of the league mean? I agree with you. for it doesn't have to be a guard league because this conversation is going to.
It doesn't have to be, but I think that's the common face
with how I think it's hard to do because I think Wemby could do it. I mean, he's so skilled, but he's also like an alien. Like you see people like they're shooting paper balls into trash cans. They go Kobe, they go Curry. Like you're not going to see someone hit a mean drop step dunk and go Shaquille O'Neal. So like that kind of archetype may not necessarily work, but you have a couple big men actually. You got Wemby, Giannis, and Tatum, who all I think are very valid, especially Tatum and Giannis. Giannis is similar. He's very clean in the media. Unfortunately, he's not in a big market, which I think would be the biggest knock against him.
Also helps.
He's funny. He's personable. I mean, San Antonio isn't a big market. Minneapolis isn't necessarily a market for Anthony Edwards. So LeBron has also helped out the league.
Ant's going to Atlanta. Don't forget.
Ant's going to Atlanta. My longest stewing take. It's in the crock pot, and it's going to be so good when it finally hits. But LeBron, he went from Cleveland to Miami, obviously a huge market, brought his own huge market back to Cleveland, and then out to LA. So as far as face of the league stuff goes, the only thing he hasn't done is play for Chicago or Boston. And Chicago is obviously a dying basketball franchise, so nothing's happening here at the moment. I'm the first one to be able to say that. So I think it naturally goes to Tatum then. And Tatum is just somehow the most oralist person on the planet. And I love shitting on Jason Tatum and so on paper, it's him and Giannis. They both have a championship. They're both young. They both are outstanding every single night for the most part. There's some Tatum stinkers in there. Jokic isn't personable and isn't kind of media trained enough. Tatum's good for a quote in the wrong way. He tries too hard and looks cringy. Giannis is pretty genuine. And has some huge moments. So I think you could give it to those two. And Tatum kind of clearly wants it and isn't necessarily wearing it well. Colin Cowherd said it best. Like, if you close your eyes, you think of Magic Johnson, you think of Steph Curry, you think of LeBron James, you think of Michael Jordan. You can close your eyes and picture what they look like, an iconic moment that they have, like something cool, something with aura, for lack of a better word. Jason Tatum, you close your eyes and you try and think of that. And there's some big moments that he's a part of, but for the most part, you can laugh at him or he kind of like ruins it. So, which is really mean to say, but I don't know how Tatum kind of breaks this stigma. I mean, he had 45 points in a catastrophic collapse to the Cavaliers a couple days ago. So I don't know how you say it's not Tatum or Giannis, but at the same time, there's tons of reasons too. So I think it's in a really weird spot. It's the media culture of NBA in general that the old heads just are shitting on the young guys in general. Like the young guys kind of don't want anything to do about it. I appreciate the Anthony Edwards of the world who are trying to bring competition back. He's like, I'm not friends with these guys necessarily. So it's a weird spot. So I'm not exactly sure. I don't think it's going to be Jokic. If I had to pick my face of the league moving forward, it's going to be a Giannis or a Tatum, especially with Giannis potentially on his way out of Milwaukee.
That's a better chance, I think, than Atlanta for Ant. But I like that. Do you think there is a chance of a Shea or like a Luka or like a – I don't know. It's a personally, I think the game is unfortunately dying a little more.
Yeah.
I think that is an issue. I think they are marketed poorly. I think that – I don't know if there's bad teams or like I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. I think it's bad right now. I don't know. I think the face of the league is very interesting. I don't think there's anybody. I think the reason the face of the league conversation is not sunk in or like done is because this isn't when Jordan retired, when Kobe was already starting to pick up his steam.
Right. Yeah.
It wasn't. LeBron is still. I just saw the updated MVP tracker, and LeBron is in 5th. So when you're 40 years old, still in 5th place in the MVP race, like it's very tough to give up the face of the league when you're still doing this. And what's funny is as I've watched the Lakers the last couple weeks, I think LeBron is trying to give Luka the driver's seat. I really do. He's letting him shoot a little more. He's letting him pass, facilitate. But Luka's been horrible from 3 since he's been in LA. He's said it himself. That being said, LeBron's just been like, all right, fine, you're not going to do it. I'll do it myself. And he just keeps taking over. So, I mean, he had 16 points in the 4th quarter a couple nights ago. So, he's good. the team is good, but I think the face of I think we're not going to have an answer for a while. I still don't think anybody wants it. I don't think there's going to be one. I think Tatum, you're right. Tatum and Giannis are the best two options, but I think Giannis has got to be almost not old, but I'd say he's older than.
I bet he's going to be shocking.
He's 30. He's 30.
Oh, I didn't know he was 30. That's bad.
So I mean, Tatum's 26 at least.
Yeah. And in Boston,
I'm pretty sure.
Jaylen Brown. Why is it Tatum and not Jaylen Brown? Why is it not Jrue Holiday?
Luka just turned 26. How about that?
Luka works. I don't know why it would. I don't have a good reason on why it wouldn't be Luka.
Well, he's in LA. He's bitches. He bitches too. People hate that. But I guess that shows his competitiveness. I guess.
I think where it really will start to come out, LeBron will retire. You'll see. I mean, the Nuggets are. I'm not going to call them a dynasty, but they've been really good for the last handful of years, and you don't see it going to Jamal Murray or Jokic. I mean, they've gotten a lot more media attention, but I think once LeBron is out of the league and someone kind of stakes their
has a good run or wins that first title without even
first title,
shadows.
maybe two titles in a couple of years, because LeBron isn't making the finals every year anymore, but he's still always in the conversation. It's the top teams, and then what's LeBron going to do? I think I'm happy that the Lakers are actually trying to get a high seed instead of basically what they do, sneak in through the play-in last year and try and make a run. They were kind of lost the last couple of games to try and get a favorable matchup, which I don't like when that stuff goes on. So I appreciate that they're kind of JJ Redick has done a really good job in kind of pushing effort on most nights, and they're much better to watch. So it's still LeBron's for now, and maybe it goes to Luka as a kind of a natural passing of the torch from there. But other than that, we're not going to see it until we have no other choice but to not talk about LeBron James.
Yeah, you're right. I think you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. That's just kind of where we're at in that league. We'll see. I mean, that's the thing. Like I said, who wins the first one after he's gone? I've thought that winning the ones while he's still in it would help. Tatum, the Giannis, the who else has won one recently?
The
Tatum,
Suns get
Giannis.
one, or the
Suns no. That was
lost
Giannis.
The Bucks.
So yeah, those teams. I thought those teams would get some guys, and it hasn't worked. Devin Booker has not been as good as he was in the beginning. So you had also younger guys. I think another issue is you had a lot of young guys have an awesome 2-3 year span, and then they're just boom, off a cliff. So then it's when you fall off a cliff like that, it's tough. That's what makes you face the league. That's why Jordan. That's why LeBron. That's why Kobe. That's why those guys were successful. As because there was the only fall off was at the end for the other two, for Kobe and for Kobe and Jordan, was at their age when they got hurt, when they're older. That's when the fall off was. That's how you get a new face of the league. But this, it's weird spot to be in, I think.
Yeah, definitely is.
Couldn't be my sport. We have a gambling addict as our face of the league. Wrapping up now, though, before we get the clutch moment of the week, we want to do something different. Obviously, like we said, sports calendar, rough moment. March Madness, one of the best times of year. Super Bowl is a great time. Kickoff, week 1, awesome. But in honor of our lull, I'd say, in the sports calendar, which, maybe they should call the dog days of summer. They usually just say that for baseball. Maybe they should use that for post-Super Bowl till March Madness. It's really just a month of dog days of summer.
Yeah.
Dog days of February.
Yes.
So in honor of that, we're going to do the Mount Rushmore of worst days of the year. Doesn't have to be sports related, but a quick Mount Rushmore, 4 picks. We'll let Joey pick first. I'll give you.
Oh, I was going to say flip a coin.
Oh, okay, flip a coin. Okay, do you have a coin on you?
I'll do
I
it.
got one right here.
Okay, I was going to say I'll do it online, but it's not exactly trustworthy.
I'm flipping, so you got to call in the air because you're the away team since I'm flipping on home.
Okay.
You call in the air. Ready?
Uh-huh. Heads.
It was tails.
I'll
show you here. I dropped it, but it was this.
Liar. Fake news. Oh, your camera went out. Your camera went out. We didn't see it.
Anyways. If my camera back now?
Yes, you're good. You're good.
Okay. Yeah, I don't want any fake news. So I'll pick first then. 4 rounds. I actually just had a good one before I did it.
We have done zero prep. We have done zero prep for this.
Zero.
We can work more Mount Rushmores into future episodes, but this is our first crack at it with zero prep, so I'm curious what we kind of come up with. Personally, I think I think better on my feet than Michael does, so I'm hopeful at the moment. But you're starting us out, so let's go.
Okay. Worst day of the year. We're doing any day, right? Like, doesn't have to be like any sports related. Like, just any day of
Correct.
the year.
Any day.
Okay. I'm gonna go with the Saturday after Super Bowl. Football is completely over. There's no college to save you.
Okay.
There's no college. There's no NFL. That Saturday, it's because you can't pick the Saturday and Sunday. You can't pick the weekend. So I'm picking that Saturday. That's the start of the weekend. Saturday after the Super Bowl when football is completely dead.
I think that's okay. I don't know if that's my 1-1, but
I don't know if it is either. I don't know if it's either. I didn't expect to win the coin toss.
Mine is going to be January 2nd, the day after New Year's Day. New Year's Day, you get the day off of work. I usually end up traveling for New Year's, whether just like going to visit friends at colleges over the last couple of years or going on a little trip. So the day after New Year's Day, the hangover is likely still there from a long weekend. You're back to work. The New Year's resolutions are gnawing at the back of your mind. You know you should be in the gym, but you don't want to do anything except DoorDash something and sit on the couch. So January 2nd is going to be my number one pick.
January 2nd. Okay. I'm going to do... See, mine's not like an exact day. Can I do first day back from vacation?
Yeah, that's fair.
Mm-hmm. Okay, first day back from vacation. Day. That's the worst day.
Yeah.
That's the worst day.
From a work perspective, it makes you feel like you may as well not have gone on vacation because you're going to be working twice as hard for the week that you took off. Yeah.
Yep.
That's a good one. My next one, Super Bowl Monday, the day after the Super Bowl, like it's a Sunday, you go out. I thought that was going to be a good 1-1 in terms of sports days, at least. Monday, you're feeling gross. You had a lot of Buffalo chicken dip. I was working most
of the Super Bowl. Maybe that's why I wasn't in the mood to pick it.
That's fair. You didn't really miss a beat there, but Super Bowl Monday is just a day that everyone is too fat to work. That's what everyone's auto reply should be on the day after the Super Bowl.
out of fat. Okay. Super Monday. I'm gonna do week 0 of college football. That's the worst day of the year. One of the worst days of the year because
the Thursday or the week, like the Saturday. Is there even games on set? It's the worst. It's just the worst. You're right.
The week 0 Saturday is the worst because they give you like that Georgia Tech, like who they play, like Georgia Tech.
Was it Georgia Tech, Florida State? Florida State was ranked 10 for week 0 this year.
Great game. And then after that, it was like 3 shitter games in like Hawaii, Idaho. So and they like tease you with one good game. And I think that one was like a game-winning field goal. And then they're like, all right, we'll see you back. You're not great. We'll see you back next week. And you're like, oh, that fucking sucks. Like, what am I going to do till then? Yeah. So, week 0 Saturday, college football.
Week 0 is a good one. My next one, we're going off the cuff here now. A weekday birthday post college.
Okay.
When you're in college, your birthday, you can drink on any day of the week in college. Let's be real here. You can celebrate your birthday whenever you want in college.
That's a good one.
I
was thinking about that one for my last pick.
Yeah, you can't really do much. You got to work all day. Like, you may get a couple Teams messages, a bunch of texts. Are just like, oh, thanks. Like from people you may not have spoken to in a year. You're like, oh, thanks. Got to catch up soon. You both know it's not going to happen.
You both know it's not happening.
Thanks, bro. Like, good to hear from you. So yes, weekday birthdays. Yeah, my birthday's on a Friday this year for the first time in a very long time. Wow. So I'm excited. Yes.
Let me see what my birthday's on. Ooh, Tuesday.
Tough.
And the PwC doesn't give you Veterans Day off. Tough. Okay, Tuesday. That sucks. Thinking about it now. Okay. Last pick.
I think I got a heater cooked up for my last one.
I don't know. The last day I could. I don't know. Let me think.
He's choking.
I'm choking. All mine are sports related. I'm trying to do a different one.
Oh, mine's also very sports related. Mine's gonna look ugly on a graphic, but it's a very niche day.
Okay, I'm gonna do. Fuck it. Even though we won it, Monday national championship, worst day, horrible. Obviously, we won, so it couldn't be of that worse, that bad. But a natty on a Monday is criminal.
I think mine is very, very similar to that, so I'm still going to say it. But for it to be the worst day, for it to be one of the worst days you can think of, obviously it has to come with a loss. So
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not bad. Like, it was great for us this year, but the idea of it being on the Monday is terrible.
The idea of it. So Game 7 of the World Series went to extra innings and was way too late. I was on like a weeknight. College national championships are always on Monday, and I think the basketball national championship is also on a Monday.
It is.
So mine that I just thought of before you said that was those late night weekday games that are big games, like a playoff game or a championship, but you lose. So you have to wake up. Often, like, you're with your friends are all up rooting for the same thing. You got to see each other at school or talk at work. Late night losses, I think, is a good number 4 pick.
Okay, so to review, I had Saturday after the Super Bowl, so the first weekend of no football. First day back from vacation. Week 0 Saturday, college football. And national championship Mondays.
Yeah.
You have January 2nd, the day after New Year's. Super Bowl Monday. Weekday, birthday, post-college. And late night losses. We'll figure out a way to make that look better. But that's what the header is right now. Late night. I think those are good. I think all 8 aren't bad picks.
All sports related. We for the most part, we couldn't really.
Okay, yeah, we get it, guys.
But that's okay.
We like sports. We get it. We know. You don't have to say.
Chill, jeez.
We get it. You stop yelling at me. Okay, yeah, I like that. That was fun. We'll definitely should do that more.
Yes.
Maybe we'll do Mount Rushmore of Wrong Side episodes for number 50.
Oh wow.
So we'll do that. But now we're going to do a quick ad read and clutch moment of the week before we get to Outside the Line. We're going to kick it to ourselves now. Our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by Shore Metals, serving Southern California since 1970. Big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. See Stan, he'll help you out. Joey, who's your clutch moment of the week?
My clutch moment of the week, and I know which will feed into our combined clutch moment of the week, is Jessica Lee Gagne. I talked last week about how effort and passion is something that's on the rise today in age, and Jessica Lee Gagne directorial debut in episode 7 of this season of Severance on Apple TV, and it was outstanding. It was.
I will say, before we get into the rest of your clutch moment and mine, this is going to be a spoilers ahead. Spoilers ahead.
Big time spoilers ahead.
If you haven't watched 7 or any other episodes, spoilers ahead. It's coming now. Spoilers ahead. I've said it multiple times. We're locked in. We've given our warning. So there you go. Jessica Lee Gagne, continue.
Very good call there. It was just outstanding. No CGI used in the episode, just from the camera work to the transitions to just what the episode was talking about. It was an outstanding episode of Severance. I know we're going to get into talking about it now. I have some negative takes. I feel like the show is slowing down a little bit, so we'll get into that. But directorial debut, Jessica Lee Gagne, clutch moment of the week. What do you got?
Okay, my clutch moment of the week is because then we're going to talk about it. But my clutch moment of the week, and you said it right before we actually recorded this segment. Top 5 people in the world. I don't know who they'd be, but my clutch moment of the week is the people that do the breakdown videos on YouTube. Doesn't have to be just Severance, but like it could be any like movie or like I know they're big in the Marvel community because Marvel has a ton. So those kind of things, those are my clutch moment of the week because those people, like I would consider myself like a smart watcher. I kind of notice things and pick up things, and I'll be like, "Oh, I remember this from episode 1," or something like that. these people are nuts. Like the people that break those down. And like I watched the episode Thursday night of Severance because it comes out Thursday night. And then I watched the breakdown right after that was already 16 minutes long at that point. So either the guy I watched, I don't remember his name, but either he is watching and pausing and simultaneously doing it, or like he's watching as soon as it drops, no distractions, and he's busy for like 3 hours to like do the clip, write it out. Cause like not only do you have to like record and like edit it, which probably takes an hour or so. Like, cause his video is only 20 minutes. But not only that, you have to be like actively watching the episode, writing things down. This. Oh, I remember that happened, and you'd be like, look up when this happened in the show. Like, if you want to
probably review notes from past episodes too.
Right. Looking at things like in this last episode, she was doing that game with the cards, and that was in Dylan's pocket. So like making sure you have this was from the exact episode 2X, whatever the episode was. So like those people, clutch moment of the week, they're always very smart. Now to Severance, incredible episode by Miss Gagne. One of the best of Severance they've ever had, I thought. I was kind of agreeing with you. As much as I didn't like some of your takes when we were texting the last couple weeks, I will say after last week's episode, the 6th episode of the season, I was kind of starting to feel that way. I was getting a little irritated that it felt like we were just kind of like loosely going around, bouncing around the storyline. The timeline was kind of a little messed up. We still didn't really know much. We still don't know much. But I felt like you were like, okay, like we're getting like one small bit of information. You're like, you'll do a couple oohs and ahs, like, but then it's like, we still really don't know what Lumen's end goal is.
Nope.
Like we kind of started figuring it out, I think, at the end of this episode. Like, how are they ever going to get out of there? Like they focused so much on this like reintegration, but then he like knocked out. So then we got an episode of like memories of Gemma and him. Then it was like I'm still not sure. I'm still a little confused. Like, but what an episode. That episode was great. The camera work is insane. The reason I think like obviously it took like I know it was 3 years since season 1. Neither of us watched it live like when it came out originally. And like we had COVID or not COVID. We had like COVID was just ending of filming, and then we had the writer's strike. So like there was things that like did actually like halt production, but like now I'm like watching some of these shots and like I'm seeing some of these interviews and like, oh, this episode took 5 months to film. And like now it like makes sense. Like some of these shots like take forever. Like, so then it's like, okay, but what an episode. What do you think? What do you think's going on? Obviously Gemma lost her baby. That's why, my opinion, I think Gemma decided to go to Lumen. They made her a deal to basically say, hey, we'll help you get a baby if you let us do this thing on you. I still would have liked to know. We got a pretty good story of how she got to Lumen. Obviously, you know, like she's there now and what's going on. But I would have liked a little more between Crash and how she got there.
Yes. Bad.
I think that was the one thing we needed. I think that was still one main point we needed. Because like, how did they disappear the body? Like, because like, obviously, you know, when someone dies, someone from your family has to identify the body, whether it's like a stroke, whether it's a crash. You still, no matter how you die, someone has to identify your body. So did they already clone Gemma when they found her? You know, how did, because Mark had to identify the body. He was not with her. So he was cremated.
He said that earlier in the show that he had to identify the body.
Right. So,
but also, did they do that? Haven't they said it's not about cloning?
I swear, Ben Stiller, I don't know. It's not. Like,
I don't think it is cloning.
So, like, I don't know. No, I agree. Like, I don't know.
I think it's weird. I am very in on the show. I'm very pro the show. I've been watching it practically as soon as they come out every Thursday night as well. It's a weird combination for me right now of appreciating the artistry and the quality of show that you're watching. 100% it is high quality. It makes you think. Like, it is it is outstanding. Unquestionably, objectively, it is a fantastic show. But also, it seems to have slowed down to the point where I now feel I can't safely say I feel confident in where the show is heading, but I think everyone that I've seen on Twitter at least is on that same page that what we think is going to happen is, or what we think Lumen's goal is. Like, obviously we don't know what's going to happen with the show and they'll always keep you guessing there, but Lumen is trying to, MDR, Mark's team, is trying to refine the chips based on what we think is Gemma's chip at the moment. Mark is refining Gemma because of his love and connection to her, refining that based on the 4 tempers of Kier and everything, so that the chip knows when the individual is in any stressful situation, whether that's labor, like we saw from the one lady at the camp, whether it's the dentist office, or even like very obviously very creepily, the whole show is creepy, but like a weird, like not great marriage situation, plane turbulence, like any sort of stress. It seems like Lumen is hoping to be able to sell. If you get this implanted, you'll never feel any of those negative feelings again. And by that way, they'll also basically have an army of mind controlled people to do whatever they want for their seemingly more sinister purpose. So while we feel like we know what the end goal is, they've spent the last 2 or 3 episodes not even furthering the plot.
Right.
It's important character exposition for Mark and for Gemma, and this episode was obviously outstanding. But now they're not doing anything. And there's 3 episodes until the end of the season. I think there's 10 episodes total. And I was talking to Moose about it yesterday, and we're taking bets on how the season's going to end. Season 1, I think the final scene was her was Mark running out of the room and being like, Gemma's alive.
Ooh. You think it's going to be the opposite?
No, not necessarily. No, I don't think that. We think so. Like, he's going to reintegrate on the floor. He's going to go down and get her. There's going to be a chase scene for them to get out. They're going to get in the elevator to go up to the surface. Because remember, you got the testing floor where she's Gemma. You got the severed floor where she's Miss Casey. And then you got real life.
What is she on the outside? What is she on the outside?
That's a good question. Something we need to figure out. But he's either going to get her out and they're going to like just get caught. What we think is going to happen is they're going to be in the final elevator up to the surface, and they're going to open the door, and it's going to be like Milchick or Cobell just like staring at them right at the door.
Helena,
so there's going to be like Helena maybe. So there's going to be like, it's going to cut off right there. It's going to be some crazy cliffhanger. I hope we learn a lot more before that happens. So the show is obviously great, but I need some more to happen. I'm focused on Lumen. I know Mark and Gemma are obviously at the center of this with how badly they want him to complete that file, but complete the damn file. We don't need it. Episode 10 is called Cold Harbor, by the way. So I think he's going to complete.
Oh, I did not know that.
He's probably not going to complete it till then. So we better learn something else over these next couple episodes. It's great TV. I love it. I'm going to keep watching it, but I need some more to happen is where I'm at.
It's a very big, like, pay attention show. See how much you remember the show. But it's great. I love it. Jessica did an phenomenal job. The breakdown people, phenomenal job. We'll definitely be talking about it probably after the finale. So in 3 weeks, we'll probably break away from a little March Madness to talk about that. I think also that weekend so that means 8, 9. Yeah, so that means the weekend I'm in St. Louis as well will be the last episode. What a weekend I'll be having. So clutch moment of the week definitely goes out to Jessica and breakdown videos. More Severance to come. Can't wait. I felt like I was severed the last month. And now we're going to go talk about Outside the Line and wrap up the episode. So now we're going to kick it to ourselves now.
All right, wrapping it up with Outside the Line and starting out with Tone Deaf Person of the Week. Michael, it's been a long time. Who do you have?
Yeah. Obviously, this is a more current one, but I haven't been able to do everything. But my tone deaf, I think it might be the NFL Combine. I think it might be.
No,
I don't know why. What's the purpose of it now? If you're not somebody on a major Power 4, if you're not somebody who's like a Josh Allen, who's a big name already known from a small school. What does the Combine do for you? No one's doing it. Everyone's holding out till their pro day. No one's doing anything. I don't know what's going on there. Like, I don't know. Like, no one's really running it. Or like, Scatabo, I think did like the broad jump.
He did the vertical. Yeah.
Vertical, but like nothing else.
Broad jump.
But like nothing else. Like Will Howard, I heard had like an okay day yesterday, which love Will. Like he had some good throws, some okay throws. Like, but like didn't run. He's saving that for the pro day. And then it's like some guys, but then it's like I've heard that there was one quarterback, I don't remember his name, but there was one quarterback that actually ran the 40 yesterday. So like he got like a lot of cheers because he actually did it. Like, so it's like, I don't know, like, is it just a week for interviews? Like, is it just a week to get to know guys? Because then it's like, and then the Milrow thing, I don't know if you saw that. Like his hand was a certain size at the Senior Bowl.
Yeah, it was like a whole like half inch bigger now. It was like 2 or 3 weeks. It was like. Yeah, that was weird.
So Combine is my tone deaf. I think it's weird. I think it's more of a media like driven event where it's like we're gonna see Rich Eisen run and people are gonna complain or talk about 40 times. But I think it might be pointless now. I think it might be tone deaf. Or maybe it's me
I
if you think
think
that's not.
no, I don't think you're wrong with the fact that a number of the top guys aren't competing in certain events. I think I think a lot of the public, and I'm not sure how teams understand it, but when I see someone like Scatabo, everyone's like, yeah, he's great, he's explosive, but does he have breakaway speed? Probably not. So instead of putting it on tape, like there's probably ways that they could find like him running on the field and a 40-yard dash in a compression shirt and shorts versus carrying a ball and running not in a perfectly straight line, like actually in a game is definitely different. But in my opinion, those who are not willing to do it are essentially admitting that this is one of their weaknesses, and you can obviously like quantify everything based on testing, but not doing it at all, like you can't quantify how bad the person is at this or how good they are at it. So I agree, it's pretty pointless. I understand that like the pro days a little like further along, so you have more time to train in theory, so like I can maybe get that, but I guess it's time for people to get those meetings in, but I don't understand why that wouldn't be happening anyway. So I definitely agree with you. It's during the middle of the day during the week, so it's not even like it's a big media driven event. So there was a fight between reporters there. That was the biggest news that I saw out of it, but other than that, you're probably right, there's not much going on.
And I will say, I watched a couple of Will's throws. He looked okay, didn't look great.
Mm-hmm.
Another thing you mentioned that made me remind me of pro day. When you're at your pro day, the difference between pro day and the combine is you have to pick your receivers at your pro day, whether they're your friends or players at the school. So a pro day, in my opinion, is going to make Will look way better.
Yeah,
as much as I love Will,
because
but throw him for months, they're better than most of the guys he was throwing to yesterday. Like I saw him throw a deep ball that looked awesome, but the guy couldn't get there. I think Jeremiah gets there. I think Emeka gets there. I think Carnell gets there. So, like, you get the benefit of the doubt with the help of your guys. So I think maybe that's why people like the Pro Bowl, but we'll see. So that's my tone deaf. How about you?
That's a good one. My tone deaf goes out to the Academy. The Academy really put themselves in the tone deaf spotlight this week by basically saying they don't watch all the movies, A,
right,
and B, play the political game for sure. I forgot who specifically it was, but political game as in they give awards to one person because another person has already won this award. That's not what it should be about.
Or they haven't won and they're going to win,
They haven't won. You can have this one if we can have that one. I think that's BS. One, the fact that they can't sit and watch all the movies. I saw something on Twitter, and who knows who tweeted this, but that it was someone who works at like the Academy office or center or whatever it was, and they have a theater in there to show every single movie like whenever, and nobody was ever in there, according to this one random person on Twitter who is my news source for this. But that is ridiculous. Up and then them admitting to basically like stacking the awards certain ways is just ridiculous. Like, have some integrity for the award. Like, it's not about how many they have. Like, it's about this year and like this body of work, not what they did in a different movie. So I thought that was ridiculous. And just dumb for the sake of being dumb. I don't understand like any way that this benefits the Academy. It's not like if an actor's mad at them, like they're going to change what they do. Like they're above it. Like they're the Academy. So I thought that was ridiculous and very tone deaf.
Yeah, no, I thought the thing I said about Dune was terrible. I hate that it's political. They said something like you're kind of right, like, oh, he's won before, but like that person has never won. So I saw that somewhere. So just a mess all the way around. Hated to see that. They suck. It's so political. I think tonight is the Oscars actually tonight.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. Yeah.
So tonight's the Oscars. My parents have been watching a lot of the movies. I watched only a couple, but they're whatever. So yeah, very tone deaf. The Academy always have been. Also, always have been.
For sure.
Now we're gonna wrap up quickly. Right and wrong side. What do you got?
Right side. So yesterday went to one of my friend and former OSU alumni, Eric Weidenhofer, his kind of housewarming party. He moved to Chicago after a couple of years. He lived with his parents at home in Cleveland, but has always been planning on moving out to Chicago when the time is right, and finally moved out. And I referenced it earlier in the episode that at this point, like I knew he had moved to Chicago from Ohio, but I forgot the fact that he was moving out of his parents' house for the first time. And it seems like we're kind of nearing that phase of the year, like into this summer, spring and fall, where a lot of kind of this next wave of people are starting to move out of their parents' house. Maddie and I are moving together later. And we were also just talking about like what we've been up to. And like I said with you earlier, it's less about like what bar you went to or how late you stayed out the weekend before. It's about like where you're what's going on in your job. You're on your second or third job, perhaps, what's going on in your relationship. So the bars we go to are a lot quieter and more sit down now. So my right side is we've graduated to our second year or third year. I don't even know where we're at now, but we've graduated and kind of leveled up in the young adult world. We've talked about it before on this show that it's kind of like freshman year when you first get out, like you're trying to find your spot at your job, when you move out, things like that. But now it seems like people are established, people are doing well and kind of taking that next step in life, wherever it may be. And as the time goes by, like you get to a point where you all graduate college at pretty much the same rate. But now time goes by, people are excelling in their careers. They're excelling in their personal life. There's a lot of differences in life now, but it's good to see that at least all the guys that I've been seeing lately and all my friends, like you're kind of taking that next step in life. So that's my right side, is moving up in the world.
Hell yeah. And you said wrong side?
Wrong side. Politically speaking, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson has just hit a 6.6% approval rating, which is one of the lowest ever. That's my mayor, so I don't really know exactly why that is, but I thought it was a hilarious headline, and he's been kind of a controversial figure since he was elected, and clearly things aren't going well. So my wrong side goes out to Mayor Brandon Johnson.
I love that. Yeah. Okay, that's oof. We live in just such good cities. My right and wrong side. Wrong side was a complete sell by me, not having a vacation booked in between public and private clients. Complete sell.
Yes.
Very big sell. Should have just taken one. Like I'm regretting it now. Like I didn't want to do a staycation, but should have just done anything. So complete sell by me.
Yeah.
I guess I'm quote unquote. It's not really a vacation because I'm working in St. Louis those whole days. But not a complete sell. It's a sell. That's the bottom line was a sell. So that's an awful wrong side because I'm already tired and I have no vacation. Right side.
Yeah.
Went on Friday with some coworkers because we were like all joking about it. Hadn't been there in years. Went to Chili's, had a triple dipper. We all shared a triple dipper.
There we go.
Fantastic. Not fantastic on Saturday, but fantastic on Friday. Right side was that. And we're to show how tone deaf we are as a society. I think they've had that triple dipper for a while. But it kind of got big the last year or two just on like social media. And on their advertising, on their menu, it says the triple dipper as seen on the internet. So
that's nice.
Very tone deaf of us. But fun time with friends, good time, just relax, had a couple drinks, didn't have to work the rest of the night. So that was my right side. So good right side.
Love it. Yeah, it's good life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop around, if you don't stop and look around every once in a while, you could miss it. So good. Yeah. Those are good things to think about and good to realize life's not all about the 70 hours of work that you put in. So maybe we're severed and they just want us to think that. But, it helps me sleep better at night anyway. So I like it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, good week. We're getting closer and closer to match day. We're getting closer and closer to moving. We're getting closer and closer to episode 50, which I think is in the hole. We're going to be 48 on Wednesday, 49 the week after. Does that mean 50 is also the week of St. Louis?
Yes, that Wednesday will be episode 50.
What a week we have here. What a week we have of episode 50, Severance finale, match day, March Madness. It's coming in fast. Woo! Let's get going. So what a week we have coming up. We have a cool interview next week that's actually been in the books for about a month or so now. Finally got it fully scheduled. The TBD on myself, probably going to be Jake and Joey. We had to rearrange some stuff. But going to be a fun interview. Very cool. I think you guys will know him. Influencer on the internet. Very cool. Thank you guys for listening. Appreciate you guys listening. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday. So glad to be back. Hopefully I'm not missing any more episodes other than this Friday because I'll just be at work. But thank you guys for listening. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday.
Stay blessed.